Today we will be diving into Mrs. Miller-McColm's 6th grade language arts classroom. Her lesson plans for the duration of the day revolve around language arts in one way or another. She even finds ways to incorporate language arts into subjects such as social studies and science, which is something a good teacher should always be able to accomplish. Her instructional day revolves around 4 patterns or instructional approaches for teaching language arts. They are literature focus units, literature circles, reading and writing workshops, and thematic units. Mrs. Miller-McColm spends the first hour of her lesson teaching literature focus units. The books she chooses are from her district's core literature selections. Many of the students in her classroom do not read at the level appropriate for these selections, so Mrs. Miller chooses to read the selections together with her students to make sure no one falls behind. So far, the class has read Holes by Sachar and A Wrinkle in Time by Langle. Currently they are reading Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. She uses this book in particular to teach her students about story structure, with story plot being the main focus. By the end of the year, the class will have read 11 or 12 novels, which is great evidence of exposure and use of the English language. Mrs. Miller-McColm uses book clubs in her classroom as a form of literature circles. She uses 7 different books, with each one representing a different group. Each book also represents a certain reading level. One thing that Mrs. Miller does is group the students by their ability to read. Yes, this is good to make sure that the students do not move ahead too fast or fall behind too far, but it does seem a little segregated. Students learn a lot from each other. The students who are more advanced can learn just as much, if not more, from their less advanced peers. Being a part of a literature circle involves more than just your raw ability to read. Mrs. Miller-McColm designates 1 hour of her daily plan to writing workshop. The students are given the opportunity to write stories and be introduced to multiple genres. The students write their pieces, then they meet in revising and editing conferences. They share their writing from the author's chair, which gives them an opportunity to read. Embedded within the reading and writing workshops lies many lessons conducted by Mrs. Miller herself. She teaches a variety of concepts revolving around writing procedures, concepts, strategies, and even skills. Mrs. Miller-McColm's class is teaching a thematic unit on ancient Egypt in the afternoons. Thematic units are designed to submerge the students in one topic in particular. She introduces the theme of the thematic unit by asking her students to brainstorm a list of the Egyptians' achievements. Then she has them choose one of the achievements, research the achievement, and share what they learned in the form of a project. She supplies the students with a rubric, so they know exactly what is expected of them. She even models what is expected of them by showing the class projects from the prior year. Thematic units seem to stimulate students' interest and make them very excited. Mrs. Miller supplies the students with freedom to explore ancient Egypt and allows them to express what they learned in a unique way. This is great. Mrs. Miller-McColm uses many strategies to make her language arts lessons effective. Here are a few keys that promote her success. 1. She scaffolds the students' learning by adding support, and she revisits many already mastered topics. 2. She models what is expected for the students so they know exactly what is meant to be done. 3. She constantly interacts with her students and makes sure that there's always opportunity for the students to interact amongst each other. 4. She allows students to work independently, which provokes self-reflection and deep thought. And finally, and probably most importantly, she differentiates instruction throughout the daily plan and keeps her students engaged, alert, and enthusiastic. Differentiating instruction is important because students learn and grasp concepts in different ways. Her daily lesson plan is most certainly not flawless, but it is put together quite well. I give her props.